Okay, so she said it's being recorded, so I guess that means we're getting ready to start now. We have 17 people on here, so some more will be coming in. I just ask that whoever is with the group, usually you all have more than one, with the developer, somebody monitor the chat because questions will go into the chat sometimes that people may not want to answer. Go ahead, give an overview of whatever, and then we're going to have questions at the beginning. Okay. We're going to have, I'm sorry, questions at the end. You may get some things through the presentation, but I usually ask that they let you make the presentation first. Know that the questions and the comments that you get are most likely going to be suggestions for you to see about different changes or whatever that the community is looking for. So be prepared to make sure that somebody is taking note of that so that you all can respond to that. And I'm going to let you go ahead and introduce yourselves. I'm going to turn it over to you. Ms. Rosie can make sure that whoever is doing a presentation or needs the screen will have that. And I think that's it. Anything else, Ms. Rosie?
Do not know of anything. Is there anyone wanting to show the screen?
Is anybody needed to share the screen now that you know of?
I think we have a few slides we're planning on sharing.
Who will be the one to do that?
Okay, so who does she need to switch that over to?
Either myself or Jane Blair.
Okay.
Just let me know when you get ready to, and I'll make you a presenter.
So I'm thinking that you didn't send those to us ahead of time because we haven't sent anything out. So when you have something, when you maybe do the next meeting to talk about changes or input or whatever like that, and you have something, you might want to send it to us ahead of time so we can send it out to everybody. That way that they can kind of look at it and have their questions and comments prepared when you come on. So I want to thank everybody for being here at your District 33 meeting. Thank you all so very much. Hey, Derek. I know you're taking time away from your dinner time. Hopefully, we had some pass through here. Hopefully, there's no storms where you are. If something happens and there are big storms or something and we need to cut it short, just let me know. But right now, where I am is clear. So I hope that's how it is with you. Thank you so very much. I'm going to go ahead and hand it over and let you all make all of the introductions and describe where your development is and take it away. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Councilmember Lee. I would like to introduce myself, Anthony Allen with Lasser Development Group. I'm also here with my coworker, Jane Blair, as well, who we are both representing Lasser Development Group. We have chosen Kimley Horn Engineering as our engineering firm as all. So we have Olivia Sinclair and also Kelly Frank as well on this call as well. Both of our engineers on this are helping us work through this development, and we'll also be presenting tonight as well. A little overview of the development for everyone. I have went ahead and put my email in the chat. So if anybody has any questions throughout this, they would like to email me directly, or if we need to schedule anything as a result of this meeting this evening, please feel free to reach out to my email there. It is aallen@lasserdevelopment.com. And again, that's in the chat here for everyone to reference.
Olivia, do you have the ability to share screens?
Yes.
And while she's doing that, I will just do another ask. I don't think I said earlier, you may have some specific questions. So if you have questions coming from this in the chat or wherever, instead of giving those questions back to the individual, if you will make sure you send all your responses to Ms. Rosie or either Ms. Melanie, And that way we will send those responses out to everyone in the database so that everyone can be privy to it.
Will do.
Okay, can everyone see my screen?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. I think we were planning to just kind of go over the context of the site to make sure everyone's aware of where it is. We have Tanger Outlets over here. That's the pretty big, maybe recognizable area. Bell Road we have up here, and then the Cane Ridge crossings, and then we have the roundabout in here as well, Cane Ridge Road, and then we're intersecting with Preston down here.
So this is trying to go off of Preston?
This will be off of Preston. That'll be our secondary entrance that we'll show in a moment, but I think our primary entrance that will be mostly used will be off of this roundabout over here. And then going along with that, we are not at the stage where we would have a traffic study. So we'll do the best that we can to answer any traffic related questions. But to reiterate, this would be our primary entrance over here. Most of the in and out would come from this area, and then secondary would be off of Preston over here. The current zoning that we have for this property is agricultural and residential, both allowing for residential uses. In the Nashville Next document, the property is categorized as the suburban neighborhood evolving, the T3NE. This is the category that promotes moderately dense and well-connected suburban neighborhoods. Also, it encourages diverse options for housing. We are proposing an SP on this property. There are a lot of planned unit developments around it and SPs as well. I believe this is one over here, and then this parcel up here as well is a PUD, and I think the one adjacent also. So we've decided to propose SP because we think that would best integrate into the area, since it's asking for more denser development. For as far as our layout, some of our design choices, we are trying to preserve these steeper slopes. We have them in here. They range from 15 to above 20. So we're trying to be sensitive to that in areas that we can. We're preserving all of the wetland and pond buffers as well as stream buffers, adding back in a landscape buffer along Cane Ridge Road and along the abutting properties. As far as open space goes, we have 8.02 acres total. It's about 56% of the site. We're going to try to preserve as much tree canopy as we can. Obviously, we'll preserve what's around the pond and the existing stream. We're not at the point where we have a tree survey yet. So we'll do the best, again, we can, answering questions about tree canopy preservation. As far as programmed spaces go, we have 2 acres available that we kind of designated for programmed open space. So that would be like the dog park or playground. And then we have 6.02 acres of passive open space. We left area for parking, and we have the ability to expand the parking as well if that is a want in the community. And then we also have some elevations to show you of the townhomes. This is our client's product.
One quick question on, or one quick clarification. The top ones are the actual floor plans, and then the other ones are, we haven't had them rendered quite yet. So the other ones are a more of a similar product that's built out. So, but the top ones are our actual floor plans.
Are you proposing all townhouses?
Yes, yes,
That's
ma'am.
another question.
And then we have some examples of the amenities. So we plan to have a trail on the site, possibly dog park, community gathering space, outdoors, and fire pit. But we really want to hear from the community on what amenities you usually like to see. Do we have any questions in the chat yet?
So
Yes,
there are a couple, I think you all already went over it, but somebody may want to go ahead and talk. I appreciate you all bringing this without having a lot of specifics so that you can hear exactly what the community wants and what they're going to ask of you. I also appreciate there are quite a few community members that live on Preston Road that are in that area that are on the call, on this meeting as well. So I hope that they too will speak up with their opinions. So please, if anyone has anything, now would be a good time to go ahead and put your views in.
Yeah, so we have a few questions in the chat that we can also address in here. Most recently, I've seen Derek put a comment in here is asking how many total units this will be. Again, this is another flexible piece of this development, but right now, as it's drawn, shown on the screen, we are showing 114 townhomes in this development total.
Yeah, Councilwoman Lee, and this is Kelly Frank, engineer with Kimley Horn. I know you mentioned there are a number of folks who live on Preston on the call. I do think one thing to highlight, and Olivia talked about it, the connection to the roundabout was something that we were very diligent about trying to add. That roundabout connection, the fourth leg of that roundabout, will allow folks both in this development and beyond to have an access onto that road that isn't the left turn off Preston where you may be turning against traffic or waiting for a gap. That would be a controlled roundabout entrance, which allows for yield control and really just safer movement. So again, we're working on a traffic study and we'll have that, and that would obviously be part of our process to get this approved, is making sure that NDOT and everyone is satisfied with how we're handling traffic. But do think that could be a benefit and certainly will reduce any potential trips onto Preston.
Okay, thank you.
And another question in the chat I've noticed, Elizabeth asked why we're putting these townhomes here. And it sounds like in the past you guys have discussed not placing townhomes in areas like this, and thought that would be good to address at this point here.
Yeah, so I think the key thing here is the transition from the high density residential with the apartments within the adjacent development, Century Farms. And so this is acting as somewhat of a transition buffer between the commercial, retail, high density residential with the apartments transitioning into, other areas of, or other residential types within the area that are more single family detached focus.
Other comments? I think there was another meeting as well today, so some of our people may still be at that as well.
I have questions. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Can you go back to the slide or of the units? Yeah, so your second entrance, you can put a mouse there. That's currently across the street from me, my neighbor's driveway. And that's a terrible, I don't know if Mr. Towns is on here. He's supposed to be on here. Like, do you have a way people fly up that hill off Cane Ridge? I can't believe my neighbor hadn't been killed because he has to cross the road right there to get the mail. So what is the plan there? Because that's a dangerous area. Such a dangerous spot because they come around that corner past the graveyard. And I don't think you can do anything with that graveyard. That I think a while back, they looked at doing something with this intersection in that graveyard. You can't do anything. Any thoughts?
Appreciate you bringing that up. That's a really good point, and there certainly is a lot of grade change. And I know there's a short wall kind of along that road through the curve that might limit visibility too. Yeah, the graveyard. I think that's certainly something, traffic calming measures, and also really just some enhanced visibility coming through there is something we could consider. And look at as part of that traffic study. So, whether that's enhanced signage, potentially a speed cushion type situation coming off that turn, or even potentially, other measures to reduce the road width to, sometimes tightening it up can force people to slow down a little bit. There's a lot of things we can explore for speed control to help with that and those.
I mean, it's also a blind corner.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't think I don't know how you would make it more visible with the graveyard because it's like 12 feet probably at least there at the road.
And there's been about a dozen wrecks right on down Preston Road in the past year.
Because they go way too fast on the road. The whole road needs speed bumps.
And then, so that's one issue. The other issue is like when you say like transition housing. I know she's trying to get on here. I don't know if y'all know her, but we're like, I think R4. Is that correct? What is that currently zoned? R4?
It's a mix of AR2A and R15. So R15 is 15,000 square foot.
What part? Well, what part is currently zoned that?
Olivia, do you know how the parcels split up?
I want to say that maybe this one is agricultural. Let me double check.
Because it's a collection of, I believe it's 3 parcels.
I would think everything to the left of the map that's not, and that's like shaded out or whatever you want to call it. We're like AR, whatever, 4 acres, 2 acres per house.
3.5. 3.5. 3.5.
I think it's 2.
No, 3.5. That's what we were.
We have 3.5, so we can't build two houses because we need. If everybody had 4 acres, we could build 2 houses.
Oh, okay. So that's why they made it 3.5.
So I don't know about 114. Like you say, like transition, like you go from those apartments across the street to this to our whatever we are currently. It doesn't seem like that. Seems like kind of a drastic 114 units to 1 house every 2 acres. It's not like a transition. Like if you think of like grayscale, black to white.
Understood. I think.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, please go ahead.
I just saw Elizabeth with a hand up. I'm sorry. I thought you were finished. Elizabeth, I think you may be on mute.
So I guess I'm a little alarmed because the last time that we talked about these developments.
Can you turn it, can you turn yourself up a little bit?
Sure. Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now.
I'm a little alarmed because the last time we talked about this development in particular, we had said no townhomes. I drive that road to drop off my stepdaughter. I almost get hit all the time. These are windy country roads, and that's just true of the entire place. And I'm sorry, but my question wasn't really answered because as I've been seeing with the Cambridge community, apparently Mayor Freddie O'Connell is just pressing this plan to try and basically just build up Cambridge and just high density builds everywhere. And the problem with that is that it is not built for it. None of it is built for it. All of the little things that you're giving us, well, we'll do this, well, like, it doesn't matter. It is not built for that. And I've also brought to their attention, you said that you're going to get a tree person in, which is great. This is a cedar glade. It is a globally unique biome. There are species that only live here. There are plants that only live here. It is not enough to preserve canopy. We're in the sixth mass extinction. We cannot afford to just build this up. And my question is why? Why, when we have room downtown to build a lot of condos for a lot of rich people, why is the mayor instead shunting all of the stuff that he wants to build for affordable stuff in a place that is already overpopulated and underserved?
Elizabeth, I don't know if they can answer for the mayor, but I think
I understand that, but it's something that we need to keep in mind.
I'm sorry. I don't think that this is the mayor pushing stuff out here. I think it is developers who have bought land, and so they're looking for someplace else to go.
Well, this is part of
So
the
change
Nashville
is
next.
not going to stop. But what I do think is if stuff comes out here, then it's up to us to say how it looks and to try to get what we can get out of it. And so that's one of the things that we're doing. Everything that comes before us doesn't have to go up. You all have seen that everything that has come before us has not gone up. But that's what's going on, and people are going to want to come out here.
This is more referring to the Nashville Next proposal that he's pushing through. But thank you. That's my time.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you, Elizabeth, for that feedback. Just to give a little context on Nashville Next, the Nashville Next plan is a land use plan that was developed, I believe it's about 10 years old at this point. And at the time, it was done with quite a lot of input from communities, and that was a huge part, outreach to prepare that plan. And so, with development in the sense of taking the neighbors' feedback into account, is where that Nashville Next came from. It's not a new plan. It has been around for a little while. So just to give that context. We did get a question in the chat. How much percentage is undisturbed on the property? Olivia, I don't know if we have that percentage number prepared.
We do not have that percentage number prepared.
I think the King Ridge like master plan / community club is asking for 50-50, and most of the time getting 40-60. So it's something that
okay,
kind
that's
of be good to know.
Yeah, we'll dig into that when we get back to you.
Yeah, like Kelly said, we'll take a look at that calculation and circle back with all of you.
Yeah, and I see Noelle had a follow-up. The summary, the 56% open space, so that would be any space that's left undeveloped by infrastructure or housing. And so that portion of the project, may be touched as in kind of graded, but would be left undeveloped. So we'll get you the number for the undisturbed preserved area.
You have no, right now, that property to the left, someone had told us he had been approached about this as well. Is that not true?
It is true. Yeah, this is Jane Blair with Lassiter. We are evaluating adding that parcel as well. It was early in the stages when this community meeting was scheduled, and so we didn't want to present it too soon, honestly. And so there very well may be a follow-up meeting if that parcel ends up moving forward.
Do you have plans to keep going, or that's where you end it?
Right now, that's the last parcel. I don't anticipate the project getting much bigger than that, truthfully. And so I can't speak to, right now, there's no other parcels that were being discussed to being added to this.
Can you guys hear me? This is Mayor and Abdullah.
Yes.
Hello?
Yes, we can
Yeah.
hear you.
Are you guys talking about the 706 Preston or passing the Preston Road?
I don't believe
706
706 is one of our parcels.
No, is that this one down here?
Oh, okay. On the other side. So you guys are stopping at Preston, yeah? And then on the Canyon Ridge.
Correct.
I'm on the phone, so I cannot see the diagram.
Oh, sure. Yes. It's the
sorry.
corner of Preston and Cane Ridge.
Yeah, okay. Is there any plan for that site or no? Or the circle is going to affect my property or not? Or the road, if you guys make that Canyon Ridge bigger, it might need some of my land also over there. Is that in the plan or no?
Sorry, are you on the southwest corner of Preston and Cane Ridge?
That's what it looks like.
Yeah,
Yeah, I just checked on
706
Google Maps.
Preston.
He's across the street. He's in that parcel right there.
Okay. So then no, nothing proposed that would impact your property.
Okay. They were talking about the road. Preston is very dangerous road when they come down to the Canyon Ridge, a stop sign.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, is there any things gonna change over there or no?
I think that's something we
Because
definitely love to explore, helping to make that connection safer, that stretch of road safer. And as I mentioned, we'll do a traffic study, and as part of the traffic study, there's always a safety and pedestrian evaluation, and so that's something that we'll definitely go through that process and can even discuss further with the community on what y'all want to see.
Okay, I'm 100% with the project, whatever is you guys trying to build it, so it's not a problem with my property, you know.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Did Tawana ever get home?
She says she's in the waiting room.
She's what?
In the waiting room?
Jose, do you have to let her in? I just got on. I didn't know people were in a waiting room.
She's already in. I've already released her.
Oh,
Okay.
okay. Any other questions?
I have one more. What
Please.
my area is zoned to?
Should be
706.
agriculture.
It is.
Agriculture?
Yes.
Is there a possibility that we can change the zoning?
Of yours, then you would have to put in for
Yeah.
a zone change.
Oh, okay. Okay.
That's a minimum 140 more cars on that road.
At least.
Did they say 140 or 114?
140, I think.
114 units, with
14.
140. Probably like 200 cars.
Yeah.
So
you hear
when
me?
is the school? Oh yeah, we could hear all of that.
Oh.
Okay, sorry. Tawana says she's trying to get in, so I'm sure she'll have something to say. So I don't want her to.
She said
miss
she
out.
was on.
I can see her.
Hey, I resemble that remark.
Ha ha ha. So please show us where is the school in relationship to all of this? I think it's way up Preston on the other side. Is that correct? Okay.
Yes.
Okay. All right. I just wanted to check to see if that was impacted. Okay.
We are getting an echo. Someone may need to mute.
I have questions when possible.
Go ahead, Tawana.
So if you zoom back into the site plan, it appears that there's an exit coming out on Preston just west of Cane Ridge Road, but I don't see any improvement to the intersection of Preston at Cane Ridge or improvement to Preston itself. My apologies for being late. We were at the Planning Commission, but can you go over what improvements there would be to the roadway? We have quite a few crashes at that intersection. We've even had a horse killed at that intersection. And the roundabout brings a lot of traffic through, and Preston is a big cut-through road. So if you haven't already, could you please speak about improvements?
And I'll just let you know before they start, Tawana, they don't have everything down. Part of what they're doing is being open to take stuff. And we had a big conversation about the traffic before, and we actually have somebody who's lives right in that area and was talking about how the traffic was and how his neighbor goes to get his mail and how that is totally terrible. And so they talked about looking at something else there. So when you, and I'm going to shut up so they can talk, but this isn't far along, just to let you know. So all of the stuff that you all are saying they're taking it in. I'm sorry.
No, thank you. That's helpful. Yeah, Tawana, appreciate the comment. And as Councilwoman Lee said, we have heard that from a few folks already. We have not completed our traffic study yet. That will be part of what we do for this project. And that will include a safety analysis, and we will look at options for that road and work with NDOT and maybe take some recommendations back to y'all and figure out how to make that stretch safer and help address some of those concerns. And I did mention before too, the roundabout will be the primary access for this development. The access onto Preston we expect would be much lower use. So the majority of traffic should be getting on and off at the roundabout entrance. But yes, we will certainly follow up with y'all on opportunities to make that Preston area of Preston safer for y'all to use as a community.
Can I ask one more question? You've got the wetland marked. I don't see that the sinkhole is marked. It might be, but I'm curious about how far away you are staying from that. I'm sure you know it's been filled in a lot, but it connects to the cave that comes out right there on Cane Ridge Road. So I would be interested in seeing a overlay of sinkholes and other features on the property. And I'm also curious if it doesn't look like you have any extensions anywhere else. So there's no expectation of future internal connections. Is that right?
This is Jane Blair. We are with a group that is exploring this property. So to speak to the overlay with the sinkholes and wetland features, we can certainly do that. Similarly with the traffic study, we are still in the stages of due diligence. And so we're expecting our geotech report back in the next couple weeks. We're aware that the sinkholes are there and we are trying to avoid any impacts to them. And so that will be an additional follow-up that we're happy to share. And whatever measures and distances, we're happy to share that with you guys because we are conscious of the natural features on the site. And then on the expansion property, we talked about this a little bit earlier. We have been in discussions with the property owner directly to the west of that parcel that's being circled right now. The timing was just such that it wasn't finalized or far enough along to put it on the plan quite yet. And so again, if that is another change in the future that ends up getting added to it, then we will bring that back to the community club as well.
I'll ask questions until someone stops me. I only see a 30-foot stream buffer. We generally ask for more than that. Generally, we ask for 50 foot because of experiences we've had with siltation and pollution. And then if you're looking at the adjacent property, I'm surprised there's not a stub out. And how many stories are these units?
They're 3 stories.
How large? How many bedrooms?
3 and 4. 3 and 4.
I had a picture earlier. Maybe if Tawana can see that, you can pop that back up.
Just some quick comments on this. One of the things that we always ask for are porches and other features that cause garages to not be the prominent feature. And in these photos with the black garage doors, it really is kind of the thing that draws your eye, or at least it draws mine. I'm also curious if you're looking at 3 and 4 bedroom, are these 2-car garages? And how deep are the driveways? We're going to ask about that.
So we do have porches on the rear, but I understand your concern about the aesthetic of drawing your eyes. And the black and white was, and I'm getting a little bit of an echo. There we go. And so the black and white was just an example because we haven't actually had this product rendered yet. So we're certainly open to color schemes. The garage doors do not have to be black to draw your attention there. And then the porches are on the rear, 2nd story as well for some additional outdoor living space.
You would purchase these, and how much are they?
These we would actually rent these. They would be run like a multifamily apartment complex, and so the value of these would be probably in the mid to high 3s. And so the rents would be appropriately adjusted for a similar home value if you were to purchase it.
Okay, let me make sure that I have that straight. So these are all for rent, not to buy.
That's correct.
So 4 bedroom, 1 garage. Tawana had asked how many cars you could fit in that, but where are all the cars parked? Street parking?
Yes, the garage is a 1-car garage, and then there's additional space in the driveway. I would have to defer to Kinley Horn for the depths of that.
The driveway will be deep enough to accommodate a parked vehicle, yes. And then there will be surface parking additional.
I see Elizabeth with her hand raised. Elizabeth, go ahead.
You may be muted again, Elizabeth. I don't know if we can hear you.
Yep. So my longtime partner lives in a planned community on Murfreesboro Road where every single house, and they are houses, every single house is for rent and only for rent. You may never purchase them. And so literally every month you are throwing your money down the drain. And I would really like it if when we make houses and if we are going to have to sacrifice and make our roads more dangerous and take away our trees, I would really like it if this could be for people, for houses to own. And if not houses to own, then for like townhomes to own. Not only that, but also the weather is getting way more dangerous. We have tornadoes coming through, ripping through, especially Tennessee. In Tennessee, they are worse because they are at night. Our tornadoes primarily happen at night. We had one recently where tornadoes mornings went from 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. That is 12 hours where possible tornadoes were happening and ripping through our state. So what are we doing as far as prevention? What are we doing as far as making sure, because especially a lot of fallen cities in Nashville, I know that the ones, the tornado in 2020, when it tore through North Nashville, shredded like paper. So what are we doing to make sure that these are going to withstand stuff like that, because our weather is getting worse? So A, people should be able to own these places, and B, weather. Thank you. That's my time.
So going along with her question, what is the possibility of you all looking at to own instead of renting?
It's likely not going to be able to be a possibility for us at this time.
What else does your company build that could be considered other than rental townhome units?
Well, we build both build to rent, single family detached, as well as townhome products.
Everything is rental that you do? Is that what I just heard?
That's correct. That's correct.
Is your company willing to look at anything other than just rental, or y'all
Historically, in the past, we have there has been a business strategy change over, call it the past couple months, and so the initiative going forward is build to rent, and so 100% rentals. And Elizabeth, I believe that you mentioned the quality, being concerned about the quality of the materials. Not only is it built exactly the same as a for sale townhome in terms of code compliance, but the quality of materials that are used in the build to rent townhomes is actually ends up being superior than our for sale townhomes. And that is because it's built for durability. It's built to be a long-term asset. And so we put in higher quality construction materials that will hold its value over a longer period of time.
Yes, but technically what you're saying is that you are going to buy this property and you will own it, and actual Nashvillians will not ever get to own this property, but you will.
That's correct in terms of this specific property. And what we found is that everybody has a little bit of a different preference in terms of whether they want to own or rent. And so we're trying to
Everyone wants to own.
Everyone
wants to own. I'm sorry, I don't mean to be rude, but everyone wants to own. The average age of the U.S. homeowner is 56. Everyone wants to own their own home.
Okay.
Sorry.
Okay. One at a time. Go ahead.
What is the name of the company that wants to build the rental community?
Lassiter Development Group.
Lassiter, and you said they recently had a change of business model. Mm-hmm. Can you take the message back to them that we would have liked to talk to them 3 months ago and not today? Because generally our community, with very, very few exceptions, does not support 100% rental communities. We have supported some where there was a limited amount, but rental communities aren't, they're not good fits. They don't foster the sense of long-term community neighbors that is really important to Cane Ridge. They don't have the same sense of caring for the environment. You know, I would rather discuss a single tower with owned condominiums taking advantage of having Century Farms right across the street than to talk about 100% rental. It just it devastates our community. And I understand that because of economic things, they may be looking at a different path, but it is not what Cane Ridge has supported.
Let me ask this. In the units around, how many of them are total rentals, and how many of them are buy to own?
Apologize, are you talking about within the area or projects
Yes.
that we do?
No, within that area where you're trying to go.
For this specific property, for the townhome site?
Yes.
Well, the all 114 would be rentals.
I think
No,
she's
you're talking about what you're doing. I'm saying anything near, because you've got all of those across the street and all of those over there. So
Sure, I
what
don't
in the
have
other
the exact
area are
count.
rentals and what are buy to own?
I understand. I don't have in terms of the exact number of supply data. I know the apartments across the street, and then you've got 1104 down the street that's rental, and then a little bit further down the street you've got Meritage Homes doing a for sale community. But we can look into some supply data in terms of for rent and for sale within 1-2 mile radius, and come back to you guys. But I don't have that data on hand.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm.
I just want to make one final comment. My recollection of looking up that TVA tower easement is that there's a pretty good slope there, which would lend itself pretty well to having a building against that easement, more like what's across the street, running up the slope and having multi-level, and they would actually have a really nice view. And then you'd have a transition from the 100% apartments that are rentals on the other side of the easement to some owned townhome condo type units, and then transitioning into our single family. That's more of the transition kind of thing that we look for. So I just ask that you come back with some other options and do something nicer but smaller, that are owned units. Maybe you have a few rentals in there, but primarily owned units, taking advantage of the proximity to all the Vanderbilt services, and see what your data tells you on that.
When you have a conversation with your people, I will tell you I really frown kind of on rentals. Like it was said before, we have talked about things and our community is not crazy about townhomes, but in that area, I know there are a lot, and I'd be interested to see how many rentals. But we don't want to start, because everybody's building here now, we don't want to be known as apartment village. So we really have tried not to have apartments come into this area, because we think it makes it stronger, the community stronger, when people own and have some commitment to what they have. So when you do go back, I wish you would talk about that again, even though you have changed kind of your strategy, but to look at that again.
We can discuss on our side and come back to you all.
Thank you. Anybody who has not had a comment, we have about 10 more minutes left. Some of the people that are right there on Preston or in that area. If you all have some comments, we did hear from some of those, but maybe somebody else does.
This is Carolyn. How many units? I probably missed it when you said it. How many units are you building in that area?
There's
114.
114?
That's right, yes.
Thank you. 114. Thank you.
Okay, looks like I got a little silence there, so I'm going to jump in again since
No,
we have.
we're discussing. Sorry.
Oh,
I'm here
okay.
and I'm doing this on behalf of the neighbors. I mean, there's really only 4 of us really that probably are, we're on the other side of Preston. My driveway is right across the street from that second entrance. And then, so I've got all the neighbors basically up the street from there, all the way almost to Old Franklin Road. And then we're in considering, or what, looking at this, Lee, do you know there's another development that's right up the street as well that's in talks, or no? We've heard like 42 houses in the next curve.
You said Lee. Were you talking to me or you were talking to
Yes.
one of them?
No, you. Sorry.
Oh, okay. I have not heard of one that has come to us. When
Okay.
when somebody wants to do that, then what I do is bring them to you all, like here.
Right.
So
Okay. We just heard that maybe they were gonna. It's a part of that other development. Tawana knows the. I forget the name of that neighborhood that's kind of across the pipeline over there.
okay. And it could be,
And
they
it
just
could
haven't
be.
formally
Haven't
come to me
come
so
to
that I
me,
could
so
formally
that I could formally
bring it to you all as a
bring it
meeting.
to you all as a meeting. It's Rivendell, and I'm not sure where they are in the process. Rivendell.
Yeah. Thank you. So Tawana, is the next step to meet and like in person and go over it, or what's the next step here?
The next step here is they are going to go with the information that they have back, that they got from here, and take that back to see if they can answer some of the questions or change some of the things, depending on the conversations that were here on this meeting. And then they would have to come back to us with that.
Okay.
And
So
one more
I'm
thing
not,
I'd like.
I'm not.
I'm sorry, go ahead. You were starting to say something, but you went out.
I was going to let Tawana talk. Go ahead, Tawana.
No, you're welcome to finish. I wanted to ask them, when they look at new things, would you please look at the transportation plan for the future? Because you probably can make a nice plug for that. This is close enough to transportation, and Cambridge doesn't really have a lot of that.
Yes, we can.
I can't see the names. The gentleman that was right there, that your driveway was close to that. Did you finish what you were saying?
Yeah, I guess it's more of a question for you. And I mean, and like I said, I'm here with the people up the street that are on this side. That really, everybody is going to be affected almost to Old Franklin Road. I mean, I don't know that anybody in the room is in support of any of it, but I don't know how much leverage there is when it comes to rezoning. I guess that's their question: is, how much leverage do they have when it, to speak up? Like, is there a chance it doesn't get rezoned at all?
Of course there is.
Okay. That was just my question.
Okay. It
And
depends on what comes from, it
I
depends
guess
on what comes from the community and what happens on that. If the council person does not sign on to it and take it through, then most likely it will not go through. If it's a big push, sometimes they assign it to a large person, which has been done before. And what happens is they have the community meetings, find out that the community is not for it, and then the same thing happens again. So it's got to go through the council. It doesn't go any place without somebody signing on and for it to go through the council. That's why it's up to them to try to work with the community and to get something that the community can at least say, we're getting something out of this if you all are getting something out of this. And so this is not the last meeting. There will be another meeting, as she said before, bringing things back, because they were very loose with what they had so that they could fill in the blanks from your comments. Make sense?
it's good. They're just, just cutting in the background. They're really concerned with traffic, and we already know that road. And I think Tawana said the cemetery had already been maybe messed up once. So I don't know, there's definitely going to be some challenges there. Maybe if you got that piece of property to the left, you could move that, there's, I guess, some options to move that second entrance on down. It's not much better, but it does give you, the people coming up Preston off of Cambridge, time to slow down from 75 to 45 before they hit somebody.
So what I heard them say was that they really hadn't had a chance to do any kind of study or do anything on that at all. So hopefully, listening to what you all said, they're going to look at some creative ways, not just for the traffic study, but looking at pedestrian and safety issues as well. And when they come back with some things. And when they come back with some, hopefully some creative things about that, because that sounds like that's going to be kind of a hard area to really do something with. But when they come back with those creative ideas, you all still will have a chance to give your 2 cents, because you live there, you travel there all the time. You can speak to it more than they can, even though they have studies.
It'd be great to get some traffic calming there now to see if it would even work.
So let me put one piece that doesn't necessarily have to do with this. If you all are wanting traffic calming any place, you've got to call it in to the hub and put it in there. Get as many folks to call, because I'm trying to get it out here in my neighborhood too. Just get as many folks to put it in as you can, and hopefully it'll get on the list. But that's just another piece if you want traffic calming any place.
Can I add one thing in? The thing that Derek was talking about earlier, there's 1, 2, 3, 4 properties right there that already belong to Rivendell. They abut this property, and they have zonings of RS10, RS10, RS10 and RM9, and RM9 and RS10. And so when we're looking at something you're proposing, we're also looking at that bigger picture of what's going to happen to traffic and density up and down Preston. It's not going to be just y'all, because there's already zoning on that. So we want it to look reasonable and have a nice transition from one area to another. And we also want to plan for our roadways in a way that works when all that other stuff comes in. So if you haven't spoken to Rivendell, since they would be your almost neighbors, we would ask that you also talk to them and see what their plans are, so that there are reasonable connections and building types and just all that kind of stuff. You can't focus just on your one property. It's got to look at the really big picture for us. Thank you.
Thank you, Tawana.
Mostly, there's no property on your side of the street going up Preston that isn't really available at the moment, all the way past Old Franklin. So that's a big piece of property that, yeah, it's like the big picture, what Juana was saying.
Okay, I think you all have a lot to think about and a lot to look at and a lot to consider.
We appreciate everyone's time.
I sure do appreciate all of
You
your
guys-
feedback from the community on this as well. And as always, Tawana has done a yeoman's job at looking at that and preparing that. You may want to check now to see when you are going to be able to get in. So I hear feedback too, and I don't know why. I don't have one thing on, so I don't know what else is open. Oh, it stopped, so somebody closed something. But you may want to look at, I am trying very hard because I have quite a few conferences with my other job in July. So I am trying hard not to schedule any community meetings in July. So that gives everybody a rest and gives you all time too. But what I would say is you may want to go ahead and get on the schedule since things, stack up, even though you don't have all of your answers yet, so that you'll be on the schedule when that happens. I want to thank everybody so much for being on here. And I think the storm held up. Maybe it's all gone and we're not going to have any. I really appreciate Lassiter for being on here and being open and sharing things with us and coming kind of with your arms open so that we could load some stuff on you and give you some things to take back. But I really seriously would think you would hope you would take that piece back about the buying to own. I will push back on Elizabeth a little bit. Everybody doesn't want to buy. There are some people who want to rent. When I first came out of it, I was looking to rent. But what I'm looking to rent was for 1 year, then I was moving on. So I did not have any commitment to what I was renting. I do know there are some people that may want to rent. That's easier for us, but here that's easier for them. But here in this community, we would rather have buyers, because even if they're buying and they're thinking it's just the first house, usually you have a little more commitment to it and a little more want to keep it up and that type of thing, and a little more community because you want to know your neighbors, because you're not just renting and leaving, you're going to be living here. So please take the importance of that piece back as well. Anybody else need to say something like in 30 seconds? All right then. Thank you everybody so very much for coming on. Bye. I see you waving. Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone. We
Thank you
appreciate your
so much.
time.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everybody. Have a good evening. Bye-bye.